Hi guys, KO here. Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila, where we are working to inspire positive, radical social evolution by uniting mission-driven humans. I'm so excited to be with you here today for our annual year in review and year in preview with the Ashley Simone Knight. We're bringing her back. She's a T&T regular. We're going to talk about what happened this year in 2022, and then we're going to break down our own personal goals and reflections and things we hope for in 2023. So download the sheet, do some of your own personal reflection. It was really cool to see our comparison to stuff we wrote last year, what came through and what turned out over this year, and things we're hoping for next year. So join us in this exercise. It's really simple, it's really fun, and have a good time with us as we hope you always do. Check this out wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to watch us on YouTube. Cheers.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Questioning a better way, one gracefully disruptive conversation at a time.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila. We have an annual special one for you. We are doing our 2022-2023 year in review, year in preview. I have our annual pseudo co-host, the Ashley Simone Knight, coming back, esthetician, project leader management, running lives, shaping our world, doing the damn thing. Ashley, welcome back.
Hello. Good to see you again. Long time no see.
I know we do. We have another podcast coming out where we break down Harry and Meghan and that whole Netflix documentary, and then some of our commentary on that. That's a good one. So if you're listening to either one of these, check out the other. We'll talk. That was on my list for 2022, the breakdown, but we'll make it brief because they got a whole podcast. So
yeah, totally fine.
Ashley, how are you doing? What do you want our people, if they just listened to our last episode, what's maybe like one statement that 2023 Ashley is like, what's the vibes we're bringing to the table? Even though we're going to get into it, give us like a 10,000 foot view.
That's so funny that I feel like this is the first year that we've done this where I'm like, I don't know. And of course we'll get into it, but yeah. I feel like the past couple of years, I've like kind of just like been grinding it out, and I've achieved a lot of things. And now I'm like, okay, like, where do I want to go now?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Because I mean, we're pretty intentional in general, and we've also been very busy. I think that is a key piece of the puzzle.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But I do think this, and I've been talking to like my other like leaders, I think a lot of work, like ground has been laid in 2023. I just get these general vibes that like, now it's time to do, like, walk down the path, step into it, whatever it is. I think just in general, I've been getting these vibes of like, man, I've just been doing so much work. I've been doing. And I feel like this is the year. And like, I couldn't resonate with that more. I kind of hope, I think I say that every year, but I really do feel like this is that year. So I think it's fitting and serendipitous that we're kind of on the same page there, where it's, even if I'm intentional, I sit like, I don't know, but like, that's kind of okay because I'm ready for it.
Yes. Wholeheartedly agree on that statement and sentiments.
Okay. So we'll jump right in. We usually do a quick chronological breakdown of events. We'll cover those, Ashley and I's take on big things that happened in 2022. And then we will get into our 2022 review and our 2023 preview. So we're breaking down the same sheet I released last year. So if you want to do it with us, I'll encourage it every year. It's the exact same one. It's some quick I statements and some goals that you can put down, and also a little bit of reflection. So I will say it was pretty cool to look at the old ones, and I really didn't even think to do that. I just happened to save them both on the same file. So it was cool for me to sit there and reflect and be like, oh, I actually did more than I thought, or this was good. So if we have like, a running track record of maybe like 6-7 of these as time goes on, I think it might be cool to see where we ebb and flow as humans. Hopefully we're on a continuous rise, but there might be a dip. We'll see.
But not like too deep of a dip.
Not too deep. Well, that's when you call your friends and you're like, yo, get out of the low zone. Let's go.
Right. Well, we wouldn't even let you get that low anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Pass the tequila. You know what's up. Okay, let's start with world events. I'm going to let you kick off. And let me know, because I feel like we're gonna have some energy around a few things, and I always appreciate that. So come at it. What topped your list
of world events? Oh my God.
Wait, before you say that, I did actually specifically separate my world events and my pop culture events.
I know. I'm like,
I wanted to prioritize
pop culture ones right now. That's so funny. What? Okay, no, I'm gonna have to bounce off of you because I feel like this year was like a blur for me,
I
and for
agree.
reasons we'll get into, but yes.
Well, I sat down and I was like, this year, and I'm like, what did I do
What even
yesterday?
happened?
I don't
I
even
don't
like literally. I'm like, what did we do for Christmas? I don't even know. And it wasn't even the tequila or the busyness. It was just like the world's moving and I'm spinning with it. So I don't know. Look for your nearest mirror ball that's spinning with lights on it, and I'm probably under it, just figuring it out. uh,
honestly.
it is like if you can get the visual, that's literally Kristen
That's
Olsen's heaven.
that
Like we're
truly
just
is
here.
you.
Yeah. I do have two mirror balls in my house, let it be known. But when I looked up, there was thing that popped to my mind. It was all things about Ukraine. Number one, Russia invading Ukraine. I like them, those two things in that conversation specifically. And I just think we are continuously having this conversation of like the bully and then the bully doing what they want. And that's certainly a conversation in America and probably in households and businesses. But I also think to Ukraine's credit and Volodymyr Zelensky's passion and commitment to his country have really set the tone of how you kind of take down the bullies and stand
Yeah.
up in the midst of it. So that was probably the most notable world event, in my opinion. What did you think about that?
No, I agree. I do think that was, I mean, it's been going on for so long that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess that was this year.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me it was like, oh shoot, like, I mean, not to be like myopic, but I was like, I'm so not in the mood for like World War III. Like I
Oh,
was really scared, I'm not gonna lie. So
well, COVID and like some other stuff.
yeah,
And I do think it's hard, and not that we need empathy in this, but it's hard to have genuine emotion around something you can control so little about. Like it's kind of like, okay, well, what can we do? And like there was great fundraisers. We actually had a podcast around some
yeah,
things, but it's really hard to be a contributor. You just got to kind of go back to your own world of like, what positive vibes can I do? How can I show up to make this a little bit better? And I don't know. It's a hard, and just to see the destruction and like, I did get a couple facts, but it said US just proclaimed 45 billion to things moving forward. This was like a few days ago. And Volodymyr Zelensky addressed Congress on Wednesday night, urging for support of our country. And that's when we put in the 45 billion. But it sounds like other countries around the world are really stepping up. And even though it's kind of like we're getting like it is going on and on and on, it sounds like we're still involved. So I'm glad to see that.
yeah.
It's I just don't know how we can't get rid of one person. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I always get a little concerned. I mean, of course, like I know we're part of like, we're part of something bigger than ourselves and we have to support each other. I get it. But I also worry of like, okay, well, what's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
do we like do we have enough of what we need to have over here? Like that
Yeah.
always concerns me too. Like, like during COVID, I remember stories of like schools like doing drives for kids who couldn't like eat lunch or dinner or whatever. Like if lunch and breakfast were their only meal, like what are we sending money out for? Like what are we
Yeah.
doing? So I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's right or wrong. It just gets my mind turning.
Yeah. I mean, I think number one, there's just so much we don't know. And like we probably
Right.
never will. And that's always just a piece of the puzzle. I do think just having, military family, I know that if we let one leader completely run and do whatever they want and not assist, like where it's going to be coming next and
Yeah.
where it's coming. So I don't know. I think it's really heavy conversations, but I'm just glad that I think a lot of the world is like us on a very simple level where we want to help. We want to do what we can because
Yes.
it is awful and it's heartbreaking. And you see a lot just innocent people being displaced for straight
My
up no
God.
good reason. I just can't believe it's a thing in 2022, now 2023,
Right. Like why
that
are
this
we
can still happen. It kind of blows my mind.
can we just not?
I know. Well,
I
on
couldn't
that,
be president. Like I'd be like, let's sit down and hug. Let's hug it out,
I
y'all. Let's
know.
figure it out.
Well, I might bring a bodyguard to have some physical communication happen because
Physical communication. I
yeah,
like that. Okay.
you could even use that. Because sometimes like I don't know that you're gonna break through to world leaders that are X amount of years old doing things they've wanted for so many maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No,
Um,
I don't think you're wrong.
but let's just never be in those rooms. How about that? On that note,
I'm fully fine with
another thing we want to forget, and I'm glad to see it. January 6th finally concludes all the conversation. It says a year full here of hearings and subpoenas is culminating on the January 6th Select Committee. Final report due out Thursday. I think this was last Thursday. Its investigation into the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021 comes to an end with the committee making criminal referrals against Trump, recommending an ethics inquiry. Yeah, I still have injury on the brain. Physical communication into several Republican lawmakers and recommending legislation to prevent another similar event. Right below that, Trump 2024 announcement on November 15th. Trump announced his third White House bid from Mar-a-Lago. In months, several Republicans have hinted at their own 2024 presidential bids or have been discussed as possible contenders, including Ron DeSantis, former Vice President Mike Pence, former Secretary Mark Pompeo, Arkansas Gov. Asa Hutchinson. And that's all I'm going to say on it. Your commentary, we just want to put it out there, address it, and then we'll let it be. But what do you got? What are your thoughts?
Okay, that was my favorite piece of like current events. I don't know if I think a lot of people watched it, but I know I watched it. I stayed up to date. I was listening to all of their discovery. Like, it was juicy.
Yeah.
It was so great.
It really was. It was almost salacious, but it was real. Yeah. Like,
but that's what made it so great. You're like, this is so ridiculous, but it's actually real. This is really happening. This man really did these things. And everybody that was in his camp truly turned against him and was like, no, I'm not trying to go to jail. So,
well, also have your oath to God, you're supposed to tell the truth. So like whatever you wanted to go to jail or not.
The same man we're talking about holds the Bible upside down. So
well, true. Not him. Everybody else was in the court of law doing their thing. So like, even if they didn't want to go against him, you had to say what the truth was. I only saw chunks of it. Because I could only handle so much, and it was getting redundant, and it was so like, okay, I've seen it. I know, I agree. Like, I don't even feel like I need to see all this.
Watched it.
Yeah. And I did watch that whole thing. But anyways, I was glad to see. We'll see how this shakes out. How do you feel about these other? Because now there's like him and DeSantis going at it. Blah blah blah. How do you feel like these other guys coming up? They're now like, peace, whatever. Because I think Trump has the lowest approval rating he's ever had. Forget about Republican and Democrat. I think as a human, people are starting to be like, okay.
I think it's so I will say I think it's a good thing. I think, like the Republican Party is starting to cannibalize itself, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm really trying to, but the reason why I'm pausing is because I'm trying not to come off super leftist. Yeah. But like, the Republican Party has been known to like prey upon people's like, values, but they're not really helping people. These same people that they claim like, oh yeah, like, you work at a steel mill or you like mine coal or whatever the hell they say they're supposed to help you. They do nothing to help these people. All they do is prey upon your fears of like gay marriage, which is ridiculous. I'm not even going to go there. And then, most of all, like abortion, they just want something to like, here's what we believe in and here's our values. Like, no, you guys don't believe in any of that. Have you met Trump? Like, you don't really believe in the Bible. Like, what are we doing here? You just want power.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything for the people that support you. So until like they truly cannibalize themselves and come back again and get it together, like, I think this is a good thing.
I kind of agree. I think on both sides, like this extremist thing. And that's why I really think it's got, I mean, we will have certain conversations around Republican and Democrat. That's not going to go away. But I think just like the good human level, I think it was 85% of people under 21, the new voters voted more democratically, but it was still like a mix of in the middle. But it was again, it wasn't just, it was like talk about values, but it's also talk about like freedoms, but more just a level headedness. And on both sides, the extremes have got to go because that's not going to do us anything.
It's not going to get anything done.
Right. So, I don't know. I was just glad to see more of the open-mindedness. I do think it's more of like a strict, here's how it is on the right, and left is sometimes a little too loose, but I don't think I see our young people going a direction where they're seeking more lockdown. They're seeking more live with fear. So I think that, like you're saying, it's just going to naturally kind of flutter out. I think
it will right itself. And I'm I'm not looking for people to suffer, people to hurt or whatever. That's not my message. But my message is like, in order for you to right the ship, you got to root out the weeds. So I think they're kind of going through this right now because they can't agree on anything. They're a mess over there. And not to say that the Democrats are doing well either. Like, they're a hot mess too. Like, don't even want to go there, but it like, at least like, I mean, sometimes conflict can lead to like a better outcome in the future. So that's what I think is happening.
I just hope it's
hoping for.
I completely agree. Worthwhile conflict where there's like some layer of communication where each side is hearing the other, even if it's just a shred. Right. But my only hot take was, and as a fellow athlete, I'm here for good athletes. If you think Herschel Walker was not pro-choice, that's my main hot take. There's absolutely there's receipts, which I don't even say receipts, let alone something like that. Zero judgment in any capacity. I'm clearly pro-choice.
The fact that you said receipts with an S.
I know.
Not just one time, multiple times. That man is insane. That was so. And did you see him like moonwalking? And I don't know, like who pays for this shit?
We idolize our celebrities out here. Of course, our athletes, and I'm one of those with my Michael Jordans and my Whitney Houstons and all this. But like, there's a time when you just got to stay in your lane, and like that's enough. Like, Whitney doesn't need to be president. Kanye doesn't need to be president. We don't need to hear all my views on certain things. Like, let's breathe it on out. Okay.
What a time. What a time. Now you're jogging my memory. I'm like, oh God, oh no.
I hope Shonda Rhimes is like somewhere sitting back being like, I'm going to do less. I'm just going to rewrite this in some form and switch up the narrative and cut and paste a few. I'm serious. And then like put it on blast, like Bridgerton, something like Hellington or something.
I'm in. Hellington is very accurate.
My outfit will be better for that one. We have the 2023.
Imagine like a bachelor would be like Trump. That is Hellington.
I don't know if I could tune in and give it the ratings, but I probably would, just because we could podcast about it. And like, I don't know. If you can't laugh at it, I don't even know what you can do at this point.
Right. Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. So, okay, a serious note slightly. New gun laws and mass shootings. 2022 was marked by several more high profile shootings, including Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, Highland Park, Colorado Springs, and Chesapeake, Virginia. On June 24th, Congress sent the bipartisan Safer Communities Act to President Biden's desk for his signature, marking the first time in nearly 30 years Congress has approved major legislation to combat gun violence. The law expands background checks for people under 21 and includes funding for red flag law administration and mental health treatment. Some of the latest mass shootings of the year happened just weeks before this 10-month anniversary of the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting. Craziness. And I'm on cold medicine, so sorry I'm sounding crazy. I am definitely.
No,
yeah, I don't even know where to begin on this. I'm glad something's happening, but it's truly heart-wrenching to think, this many years later, 10 years since Sandy Hook's elementary school, like that's insane that this is still not only happening, but like prevalently happening.
Yeah. I mean, I still think of Columbine because I was in elementary school, which sounds wild. So imagine being in elementary school and now it's like, oh yeah, like it's still happening. And I'm well into my 30s. That's insane. Like, what are we doing? So I'm glad we're moving forward, but it's not fast enough, unfortunately.
No. Well, some of these assault rifles and stuff, it's just, I don't understand the argument and free choice.
What do you need? You don't need.
Well, no other country in the world has this problem. So like, clearly we need to take notes from someone else, and that's okay. Just like in business, if someone's doing it better than you, go ahead and get the cliff notes, apply it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, and let's make some adjustments. And I know it's not that easy, but I played a lacrosse game the day before Columbine happened at Columbine. And I was in high school. I always forget our age difference until we talk about stuff like this. But it blows my mind. Yeah, my 17-year-old self was going through that. And now my 42-year-old self is still conversing about that. So it's, I don't know what we do, but get ourselves familiar with what we can and can't do. How do you feel about guns in general?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I think people should be able to have them? Sure. Do I want one? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm here for, like what people are into in their own private homes. What I don't agree with is semi-automatic or just like guns that you use in the military. I think that is absolutely ridiculous.
That are designed to kill people. Yeah.
That's a hard no for me. Like, you're not going like rabbit hunting with an AR-15. You're just not. So like, I don't, what do you want? What do you want?
Alone.
Whatever. So, I'm always willing to respect what people are into because, you know, they're gun enthusiasts. I don't want them to feel like, oh, you're taking this away from me. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, we don't have bomb enthusiasts, do we?
Right.
Or
Well,
can
I
we
don't know,
allow
probably,
that?
but
We probably do, but
I,
is it legal? No.
yeah.
So, like, where do we want to draw the line here?
Well, if your hobby kills people, like there's keychain enthusiasts and then there's maybe gun enthusiasts. I think there's some area there. I am a gun owner. I'm a proud gun owner and not, hating, throwing it out the window and stuff. But as a single
Yeah.
female that lives alone in the city, 100%.
Yep.
And, I go to classes and shooting ranges and
Yeah.
you study, like you learn what to do and it's, securely put away. And I have no children at
Right.
my house. Like,
And you'd have no issue like surrendering it if you had any mental health issues.
100%,
That's where
100%.
the problem lies.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Well, and I
to
think I agree. Actually, the mental health conversation, but we need to have both. Like one cannot go without the
Yeah.
other. But the mental health conversation, I think, is the clear one in America that we really got to lean into. And while that catches up, maybe eradicate or provide some space between certain guns and certain people.
I agree. And you know what? I would even take it a step further of like, let's like get rid of all of like the, semi-automatic like stuff that is used in the military, whatever. Like, let's make that a hard no for now.
Yeah.
And then when society gets better over time and we have proven that we're responsible humans and maybe just like people want to be gun collectors of it, maybe we can loosen the laws then. But we don't, we don't need any of that right now. We have proven to ourselves that we don't need any of that right now.
I feel like it's pretty hard to get a driver's license. Like, can it get like that? Like, I filled out the form to get my gun and do all this stuff. And it was a little bit nerve wracking because it was weird. And the vibe of the people, if you can only imagine, is not my crew. I'm not a hunter. And it was weird.
You didn't bring any camouflage?
It was like neon and camouflage. I like the neon, but for different reasons. And the camo is just the vibe of the humans. It's all good, but it's just so not my zone. And I was in like fitness pants from the gym with chalk on the side and like a Turmeric and Tequila shirt. So alcohol and guns.
And they're going elk hunting.
Yeah. It was totally. I was actually with my dad and I didn't know how to use it correctly. We were just looking at them and the bottom flew off the barrel, like when you go to load it. So I looked like the biggest blonde basic ever.
Love it.
And my dad was literally cracking up. But again, hence the classes and you get, a basic, like it's all just a thing. So anyways, I'm glad to see we have some progress, but we need to start rocking and rolling the next direction.
Yeah, let's tighten it up a little bit.
Okay, the next one, that's kind of all I had for big year events. Yes, there was a million other things that happened, but I feel like that's the stuff that kind of stood out. Did you have anything else to add from those?
The only thing that, was always on my mind, if anybody follows me on Twitter, they know that I was relentlessly heckling the president about the student loans.
Oh, tell us about this. I love that you're such a Twitter and I'm not
playing around.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we got this done the other. What about my loans, sir?
Yeah.
What about these loans?
Did you get a response or what did people say?
No, good and well, they'd never respond. But I was relentless. Like it would have nothing to do with student loans that he'd be posting or his social media person would be posting. I'd be like, yeah, but the loans. So
yeah.
This is what I voted for. This is what you promised.
Yeah.
And until you bring it to fruition, I'm on your head and your neck.
He said that was still going to continue to be addressed. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, no, like it's in court right now. So they did approve it. And I will say this, they made it very easy for you to sign up because I thought it was going to be a whole thing. I thought I was going to have to find some papers. In my storage unit. Nope. You just needed like very simple information. They could find you from there. And I did get an email, which I'm sure many other millions of people got as well, as like your request for forgiveness has been approved, but it's in court, so it's on hold for now. So depends on what happens in the courts. Once they get through court, then they'll fully forgive that $10,000, $20,000 if you got the Pell Grant, and you can go from there. So I'm happy for myself. I'm happy for everybody else that will be getting this type of relief. And when you think about it, this is how do you want like America to progress? Yeah. Like, I mean, millennials, like we're the people now, like, my parents, like they're getting older. Like it's people our age that make society. So do you want to make sure that we're financially secure, or do you want us to continue to struggle? And one of the biggest struggles has always been like student loans.
Getting out of debt in general. Yeah.
Getting out of debt in general. And they're like, well, why aren't, millennials having kids? Why aren't they buying houses? How can we do all of that if we're all in debt? Ridiculous.
Well, and we've learned.
Expensive. Cars are expensive. Gas was $7 this year. Like, what do you want from us? And then you want us to birth all these children? Who's going to watch these kids?
Not me.
I'm not even going to go there with the whole kid conversation.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole thing. Like, you're holding us back if you don't let us become financially like stable. And I'm not saying that it's anybody's fault. I do think that, student loans were super scammy. Like the way that
for sure.
So
my
yes,
generation,
I feel like the government needs to take some responsibility for that. Did I take those loans out? Absolutely. Do I have the intention of paying them back? Absolutely. But at the interest rates that they gave me and fleeced me, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's meet in the middle somewhere.
Again, well, and here's the thing. Now we've watched our parents have those struggles with kids and bills and this, and we've had more conversation around finances. It's not financially responsible for a lot of us to have children, to buy a house, to do these things. Like we don't want to repeat some of the stuff we've grown up with. The consumer is savvy another, hence our young people are savvy another. Like it's going to disrupt that process. And so even $10,000, it is a lot of money. Some kids, like doctors, whatever, have $200K plus. It still matters. Like this stuff still adds up. It's still a chunk.
I know people that if they get that $10,000 like forgiveness, they're good and they are financially free. Like it does so it's just highly frustrating. Like do they want to be like people in like Sweden or Norway where you like pay people to have babies? Like, because that's what it's going to become.
Are they doing that?
I forget exactly which country it is, but one of them, like if you're a resident, like they pay you to have kids because there's nobody having babies.
Oh, interesting.
So do they want it to be like that? Because I mean, like they barely give us, any money in general.
I'm curious on the numbers on that, because as a financial, I don't know if I'm a financial person or not, but want to be. Is it enough to cover childcare? Not that I want to raise my own kid, but I'm like, does this make financial sense even if getting paid? That's a very good
question.
One step ahead, y'all. We got to be out here thinking about this.
I don't have the answer to that, but but like their healthcare system and stuff like that
is totally different.
That part of Europe is way different.
But also the way they eat and sleep and do life and like some other things are different. So like all the healthcare is impacted differently. They do
a lot of things different. It's very laid back. And once again, I keep forgetting which country it is. It's Norway or Sweden or maybe both, but they're so lax out there that they like imagine you're going to brunch, but you bring your baby in like a little carriage. Yeah. They park their carriages outside and then they go inside and have a meal.
That's I hope we don't sound like ignorant Americans right now. And what about England and William and Kate and I'm just poking the bear right now, 100%.
No, I love it. No, in England they're like, does the baby have color? Like,
I know. Does the baby have a doctorate degree right now? What is
right?
Is his pinky out? Oh, I'm dead. Right. Okay, here's the quick list of 2023. Chime in on any of these. I'm not going to unpack them too quick, but I do think some of them are good. This is 22 things that happened for the first time in 2022. We will go quick and I'll read as best I can. Apple becomes the first company to reach a stock market value of $3 trillion. So they hit it and then kind of came down with the thing with the stock market, everything that's going on right now, but $3 trillion. Do you have stock in Apple by chance?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You know how you can like do those basket ones where they put
just like diversified portfolio?
Yeah. So
I looked at it. I did a little bit of investing this year, just like, low risk, blah, blah, blah. And one share when I looked was $125. And this was like when things were going Apple. Yeah, just one share. So I didn't. I think I bought BMW. And but then you have one share.
Why would you believe it? I mean, but why not? You can always build on it.
Yeah.
Because imagine when we're like 60 and then it's like $500 a share, and then we'll be like, well, we should have bought it in moderation.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go to Norway and have a bunch of kids and make money that way. sign Scientists pinpoint how star formation in our galaxy began. Is that interesting to you at all?
I mean, I like stars and moons and things. I didn't hear about that.
If by stars you mean Whitney Houston and Justin Timberlake. Otherwise, I'm here for science.
Or,
I don't know a lot about it,
or
but
astrology.
it's excited. It says scientists can explain for the first time what triggered the formation of stars in the Milky Way, according to a paper published in Nature in January. I guess that's the paper. Researchers say a chain reaction of supernova about 14 million years ago led to the creation of a 1,000 light year wide bubble at the center of which lies in our galaxy. Though scientists knew this bubble existed, they recently discovered that all local star forming regions sit on its surface because the chain reaction pushed away the dust and the gas needed to produce new stars to the bubble's edges. Do we have Bill Nye the Science Guy on lock? Does someone have his number?
Right, I want to know what these scientists are getting paid.
more than the people having children in other countries.
For any of this. I'm asking for my school loans. I'm not asking for this.
I need to go back to school. I'm excited. Science is not my jam. I'm here for it. I'm excited. If you're excited, we got billionaires going to the moon. So maybe this will apply to Bezos and Team Amazon. I don't freaking know. Yay.
I wonder if that drove up like the gas.
Who knows? Probably. I don't know who this is a turn though. Number 3, Victoria's Secret. Here we go. Secret features a model with Down syndrome. The Puerto Rican model Sophia Jirua. Jua? I'm the worst. Is the first woman with Down syndrome to become a Victoria's Secret model. She appeared in the fashion company's Love Cloud ad campaign, which emphasized diversity and inclusion. That's cool. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but I know that they've been working on their diversity inclusion. You know, like they've been imploding ever since like people stopped watching the Victoria's Secret fashion show. So yeah, they're just really trying to rebuild. Also, there's a documentary. I believe it's on Amazon Prime. Could be wrong, but I didn't watch Victoria's Secret. It's great.
Oh, it's good.
I liked watching it. I think they covered everything very well and how like why it imploded and why they're not doing well because they didn't listen and here they are like kicking themselves in the butt. But I think it's great. I mean, if they ever want to hit me up, like now that you guys are truly exclusive,
maybe you should reach out to them.
I might. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Keep tweeting Biden and I'll start tweeting Victoria's Secret. Put it on your cardio list.
Yes. Now I'll take a little bit of pressure off of Biden.
Yeah, I was gonna say, put it more towards these corporates. Let's start getting to their dollars. Shoot, you gotta have 10 grand in 10 seconds.
Agreed. Also, like, I don't want to be rude to like really old men. So what is he, like 80 now?
Well, I think it depends. There's context for there's context for everything. Sometimes, again, physical communication. All right. Microplastics are detected in human blood. A study published in March in Environment International found microplastics in human blood. About half the participants in the study had polyethylene terephthalate, a polymer, oh my gosh, used in water bottles and food packaging, among other everyday items in their bloodstream. Scientists had previously established that people are exposed to microplastic particles in plastic through the food they eat, the water they drink, and the air they breathe.
My sister was talking about this the other day.
Of course she was. What did she say?
Right. She just literally regurgitated everything you just said because I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you were eating American cheese, I think you were eating plastic, but that's just my personal opinion.
Velveeta, 100%.
Velveeta is definitely like 20% plastic.
Extra hot take on that. I actually think the plastic is healthier than the Velveeta. So if you're going to choose one, go with the plastic because the Velveeta will kill you faster. I think they will actually both be bad for you, or they are. But if you read, I think it's like even margarine, one of them are like 2 ingredients away from plastic. I've read that before. And you just heard how good I'm at science. So definitely believe me. Yeah. I think that's very true. I think that's probably been around and known for a while, just knowing how we eat and consume and then how stuff is processed so like free range.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And I mean, like the utensils we used to use like in the 90s, like give me a break. And like, I mean,
Yeah.
our generation are descendants of people who used Aquaphor and ruined like the ozone. So like,
Yeah.
of course we're part plastic at this point.
But as long as we're skinny, right? I'm just kidding. All these hot takes are happening.
Right.
I'm being completely
Priorities.
facetious, just to be clear. Scientists capture an image of the Milky Way's black hole. There's got to be a joke here somewhere, but I am gonna let that just sit there. Neil deGrasse Tyson, do we have you yet?
Right.
All right, we'll come back to that. Yeah, right. Referees. Oh, there was female referees for the first time in the World Cup. Referee Stephanie Rappenpart warms up alongside assistant referees Nusa Back and Karen Diaz. Medina before the FIFA World Cup Costa Rica versus Germany match in December at Al Bayat Stadium in Qatar. It's under the picture. That's cool. I didn't know about that either. Did you?
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did
you
not
watch
know
any of the
that.
World Cup?
And congratulations to,
I said, did you watch any of it? Argentina?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I sure did.
It was amazing.
I had a blast. One of my coworkers, he is a fan of the team that won.
Oh, was he so excited?
You know what? I haven't even had a chance. You know, we've been working our butts off.
Yeah.
I haven't even had a chance to check in with him. Also, I've been giving him space because I know he's probably just losing his mind,
Yeah.
Still going crazy.
Oh my God. The the announcers and stuff.
Argentina,
like I was tearing up. Yeah.
It was so good. That was a really good game. Like the last one.
Oh. Someone was saying it was like the best championship of all sports of all time, like the game and like how it went and everything else. I didn't see the last one.
I mean, I watched it. I mean, I think that's a bold statement, but it was like, I mean, you were on your seat, like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Like it was very anxiety inducing on both sides. Okay. So it was a great game to watch. I do agree with that.
I should have said spoiler alert before, but I feel like if you don't know yet, you probably maybe you're crawling out of a hole.
If you don't know that Argentina won the World Cup, weeks ago, like just go.
Oh, okay. Number 8, Andy Warhol's silkscreen breaks auction records in the United States. A silkscreen of Marilyn Monroe's face by Andy Warhol, shot Sage Blue, Maryland, fetched $195 million at Christie's auction in May, shattering a painting record for the highest price paid for an American artwork sold at auction. That's insane. $200 million.
I didn't know that his pop art was still that popular. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was big only because of Rolling Stone, and I was a longtime Rolling Stone fan of the magazine, and that was always like a heavy conversation and part of the inspiration. But 195 million. How much was Twitter? 44 billion. Are we close in comparison here? I guess not. That seems like
that man's still picking himself.
I just want to know this. Let's say you have the money. And then you have the house to put it in. Where are you hanging that? Who's around it that you trust to be around it? Like, what are you doing with it? Like, how are you even transporting that to your house? Like, there's so many logistical things around that I'm thinking like
they put it in storage, or they protect it like you put it in a bank somewhere in like a safe. Like I don't.
And you don't even look at it for that much money,
unless if they're like a billionaire, then they just don't care. Then yeah, I think they'd hang it.
I mean, put it in storage. What does that storage unit look like? Fort Knox? Like, who's watching that?
Exactly.
Midwest gun owners. Dude, that's insane. I don't even know. Like, okay, what do you throw in like the trunk of your Porsche or your Ferrari?
I mean, people do a lot more for less. I mean, I forget who it was. I'm pretty sure it was, who is it? Snoop Dogg. I think he was paying like somebody like $60,000 to roll his blunts.
I believe that. Yeah.
I know somebody's watching over them Paytons for like $40.
I need to get on that level. Okay, number 9. South Korea launches a satellite using its own rocket. South Korea successfully launched a satellite using its Nuri rocket, built by the government's Aerospace Research Institute and domestic companies. The event ushered in an ambitious new space era for the country and was a rallying point for communal pride. South Korea aims to land spacecraft on the moon by 2030.
We're still doing that?
Dude, I know the space thing. I mean, I guess I'm glad it's not North Korea, but like what? Oh, yay. If you're excited, I'm excited. Great. Okay.
What is space doing for me? Honestly,
I've
that's what
I've
I'm
had this
concerned about.
conversation and people are like, well, you got to be forging ahead because other countries are doing it. And I'm like, are they though? I don't know.
Once
I
again,
just don't
couldn't be
know.
put- wouldn't be putting our money back
Yeah.
there.
Go buy that painting. Get the painting. I'm
No,
back to the painting. Go get that. Yeah. Pop the
but
trunk of your
right.
Ferrari. Get Marilyn.
Yeah. Yes.
Number 10, a paralyzed man dies by legally assisted suicide in Italy. This, we did a euthanasia conversation in college, so I did find this interesting. In June, Federico Cabani, a 44-year-old man paralyzed for 12 years after a traffic accident, became the first person in Italy to die by legally assisted suicide. In 2019, Italy's highest court ruled that assisted suicide is legal under certain circumstances, a widely debated issue in predominantly Roman Catholic countries.
Mm,
What do you think
I'm
about
here
that?
for it.
I mean, that
I
was my
I think
conclusion
it
even
should
in
be a
college.
thing. Yeah, I've always thought it should be a thing. And I mean, this is getting a little off topic, but I'm not the best person to ask when you're like, oh, like when zombies come or when the world ends, what are you gonna do? Assisted suicide, I'm getting up out of here. Like,
A whole
take
other
me.
level. Okay, I'm glad you have a plan. Number one. Um, I
That is my plan.
I think if you are
I'm not
of
here to
like
fight.
I agree. Well, I mean, if I've been intentionally fueling my whole life and my body is if they want to eat some muscle and I've been intentional so long, it might as well go to use. I'd rather you just put me under a tree and like nourish an old oak tree or something. But again, we will
Yeah.
digress. Um, I don't. I agree. I think if you have mental health, I mean, literally, this is one of my first conversations in college, and I was like, "Dude, I practice. I don't care." But anyways, it was about euthanasia and your choice to die if you are not mentally stable or you're unhappy. I think if you're of mental health and you're clear on it and like your family approves of it. I know there was that controversial case of the girl with cancer that went to like Oregon to intentionally die. This was like 20 years ago or maybe not that long but close. Anyways, my conclusion, without a bunch of pontification was that if you can choose and that's your choice, then that it is. I mean, we do that with animals all the time, unfortunately, but if you know they're not well.
I mean, like, if you're supposed to have complete control and autonomy of your life, like, I think you should have autonomy of when you think you should be able to call it quits.
Yeah.
Like I'm more of a I I'm all about quality of life. If I
Yeah.
feel like I no longer have quality of life, shut me down. And
Yeah.
that is what I plan to tell my children and my grandchildren. Like, do not the DNR all day. Let me
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Well, I do think there's an important conversation with the difference between suicide and euthanasia. Um, because I think there's two different conversations, and while it sounds the same, it's not really. And I think
Right.
one you choose to do alone, and one you choose to do consciously with a community involved. And I think that's a
Yeah.
key difference for me. It is really a whole podcast, but just with the relevance of even
Yeah.
talking about like Twitch, which really rocked me. It was really sad to see. Um,
Yeah.
him go and potentially not be supported in that whole conversation. We did a whole podcast on that and it's a lot of the resources that are out there
Yeah.
now. So I won't digress, but I just
But
think
I
it's
wonder if
important.
like yeah, and like I think if you try to make it more of like a normalized thing, like then maybe suicide rates will go down because
Agree.
everybody's being involved and informed and it's not as traumatic. That
Right.
would be my hope.
Right. It seems to more of the suicide, and I do not know the stats. So again, this is as expert as I am in science,
Same.
but it seems like it's more for suicide specifically, it's mental health. And then euthanasia is more physical health, like disease,
Sure.
like it's car accident for 12 years. Like it seems like it's other like ways of life versus the mental health conversation. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do a whole other podcast on that. I just
No, I
think,
mean that makes sense to me for sure.
yeah,
But I
I just
think
think the
it should
conversation needs to
transcend
happen.
that because I just feel like a lot of people don't take mental health seriously because you
Yeah.
can't see it.
Right. Agree.
So that's the
Agree.
part that sucks. Like, of course, you can see someone who's been paralyzed for 12 years and they were just over it. But it's
Right.
hard, if you're seeing somebody every day for 12 years and you think they're okay, but this entire time they had a underlying mental health challenge.
Yeah. I agree. I just hope the conversation around all of it continues and furthers and more,
Yeah.
because I think the more the conversation for either side, the better we're going to get at reaching people in general. And if we can do the right thing, whatever you think that is, and that's what I want us to be able to do.
fully
13.
support that.
Yeah. Women are appointed to high-level positions in the Vatican and Al-Azhar. 3 women are appointed to a Vatican committee that advises the Pope Francis on candidates for bishops in the Catholic Church. And in Egypt, the Al-Azhar Mosque named a woman as an advisor to the Grand Imam. I'm going to mess all this up, so I apologize. I don't know if I should say the name because I'm going to mess it up so bad. Sheikh Ahmed El Tayyeb, a first in the Islamic institution's 1,000-year history. I don't know a lot about either side to this, but I'm very glad to hear that women are getting in the mix. I will just say that.
Agreed. And I have the same sentiments. I am not Catholic. I don't know what they be doing over there, but yeah. I am glad that there's some inclusivity going on.
Facts. And I really do apologize for the names because they are important, especially in podcasting. And I should know them, but I totally botched it. But I will post this whole article if you want to see it somewhere so you can do it more correctly than I did. 14, more Americans are smoking marijuana than cigarettes. A Gallup report released in August revealed that more Americans are smoking marijuana than cigarettes for the first time on record. About 16% of the Americans polled said they currently smoke marijuana, 5% points more than those who reported smoking cigarettes. Cigarettes can continue to decline since its peak in the mid-1950s when 45% of Americans reported that they smoked.
I'm glad that cigarette smoking is going down.
Me too.
Because ew.
I just think it's
I'm here for it.
Me too.
I'm here for it. I think if they go ahead and just legalize it across the board and we just make so much money, like, does everybody want a taper tax like we do?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want the money back?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Well, even some of that revenue was down in Colorado this year. And so a lot of charities and education programs were going without because even like the weed, there wasn't as many weed sales. My thing is, I just think from a marketing standpoint, you don't see cigarette marketing almost anywhere. And like pop culture, it's a little bit, but not really. There is some like weed and representation in music and blah, 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 but not really. But I don't think the two are really the same. So I agree. I'm glad to see cigarettes specifically on the decline. I think that will continue.
For sure.
Catholics. Did I cut you off?
Oh, no, you're good.
15 Catholics outnumber Protestants in Northern Ireland. According to census numbers released in September, more Catholics live in Northern Ireland than Protestants for the first time since the creation of the United Kingdom territory more than a century ago. A shift has prompted rumblings about a possible referendum on re-identifying Ireland. Okay. Yeah. I'm wondering if that has some conversation around like the Commonwealth. Ireland's not involved in that, is it?
Oh, I would highly doubt.
Okay, because I don't
know. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Ireland is not a fan of England. I do love that.
Tune into our Harry and Meghan convo if you want to hear more about that. We'll just step slowly to decide on that one.
Right.
16.
If they like it, I love it. So whatever you're into, go ahead.
I was gonna say, follow your heart. Take me to Guinness. Right. The breaking of the wand of office is televised. I don't know what this is. In Britain, the symbolic breaking of the wand of the office was televised for the first time during Queen Elizabeth II's committal service 11 days after her death in September to signify the end of the Queen's reign. The Lord Chamberlain broke the wand, a staff that represented for her rule at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. Is it like a wand? Like they're talking a literal wand? I sound like simple American right now, but do you know what this is?
That's a very good question. I personally don't know. But also like my sentiments still stay the same as in the last episode we did. So
moving forward. I'm curious if it's like literally like I just envision like a wand, like a fairy godmother, like maybe it's more, and then they broke it.
It could be. I mean, whatever it is, it's probably expensive. So I don't think.
Wouldn't you rather be buried with it?
I don't think it lights broken? Up though.
So it's not the same as the ones at the ice capades.
Exactly. A little bit
dicks.
More, a little bit more fortification, maybe like some platinum.
Yeah, I hope. Well, rest in peace. Okay, 17. The Xturismo, Xturismo, Exturismo is the X silence. Hoover bike makes its first public flight. A Japanese startup demonstrated its Hoover bike in flight for the first time in September at the Detroit Auto Show. The Exturismo Hoover bike, a flying bike that can stay up for 40 minutes, will set buyers back more than $500,000. Plans for a more affordable electric Hoover bike at $50,000 are in the works. Well, that's a huge price situation change. Okay,
like
so
a fun time. I wonder how they're gonna figure out safety with those things. You're gonna need more than a helmet.
Yeah. I hope so. But if you're flying to go pick up your $200 million Marilyn Monroe painting, at least you can avoid traffic because you're in a hover bike. So you can just hover through, drop it off at your safe, lock them both away. Oh,
we're having a conversation.
18. NASA smashes a spacecraft into an asteroid in a planetary defense test. I did see this. NASA purposely flew a spacecraft into an asteroid in September, altering the asteroid's trajectory in a test mission that has implications for future asteroids that could threaten Earth. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART, was the planet's first planetary defense test, according to NASA. Did you see this?
I did not. This is my first time hearing of this. Wow.
I did hear about it, and this was right when what was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? I think it was Up, or something simple with the girl that's well known in it. I sound like a parent right now, not thinking of the names.
It's on Netflix, right?
Jennifer something.
Where he was like dying and whatnot.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The to end. I saw that.
Who's Amy Schumer's best friend?
Girl. No, you're not asking me.
Jen something or Jennifer. I'll think of it. Anyways, they're in it. I think I was paying attention then because I was like, oh, is this like how the movie could really be? I sound very simple in this year in review. We're gonna figure it out in 2023. Anyways, yeah, they took down the asteroid. So I guess if a bigger one was coming, like we know how to deal with it. So we either got asteroids or zombies coming at us. One of the two.
Why did they think of this anytime sooner? Like this sounds so simple. I don't have an astrophysics degree, but I would have been like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, NASA would not let me in the front door, so I will let them handle this. But I do have a sweatshirt from Forever 21 that says NASA, and it has a pretty legit American flag NASA patch on the side.
At least you're in support.
We try. Just
spreading the
blowing up asteroids. 19. France sends gas to Germany. For the first time, France is pumping natural gas directly into Germany in exchange for electricity. Both countries are pivoting after Russia cut off its gas supply to Europe in what critics say is retribution for the West sanctions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So here you at least see some of the ramifications of the worldly impact of this invasion on Ukraine. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that this was happening. I am glad to see that they're working together.
Yeah.
So it's fine. I do feel like most countries are kind of like in agreement of like, okay, like this is inherently wrong. Like, let's figure this out. So
agree.
I like to see that.
Yes. I mean, I think everybody wants to, we'll just go into him and figure it out, but obviously that's not the case or would have happened by now. I agree with you. I think just like in our conversation around like social and racial justice, once the dollar comes in and the business starts moving, things are going to start to change. So even while slow, if you're tackling the pocketbook, like something's going to shift, and then strategic partnerships are coming in and we shall see. So it's kind of natural-ish selection. I've actually been talking about this a lot, like professional natural selection. Like don't listen, don't diversify, don't include, and just see how it goes over the next 10 years and wonder why you're not there when you don't. Victoria's Secret. Okay.
What happens? Right.
Exactly. 20. Neanderthal clans remains are found in a Russian cave. Scientists have uncovered the first known remains of a Neanderthal clan in a cave in Russia, according to a study published in the journal Nature in October. The findings have led to one of the largest genetic studies of a Neanderthal clan, including a father and daughter to date. Scientists believe this group of about 11 Neanderthals died likely around the same time, 54,000 years ago, possibly from starvation. Is this, I'm assuming this isn't like a racially charged clan. That's all I think of when I think of clan, but I don't know if that's just a scientific term.
In Russia.
Maybe it's just a scientific grouping, like it's called a Neanderthal clan.
Oh yeah, no, that's what they're called if it's like super, super old, or like in anthropology.
Okay, but like a group of them? And I actually think it's
Yes,
Neanderthal,
but,
not tall. There's two different versions, and this is Thal, just to be clear. Okay.
and I mean, like, I'm sure clan is being spelled with a C and not a K.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Mm.
So we're good.
We need to go back to middle school. Okay. 21. The first person of color heads the British government. Rishi Sunak. Do you know the name by chance? British? No, okay. Was born in southern England to parents who immigrated from British colonial East Africa. His grandparents were from the Punjab region of India. In October, he made history as the first person of color to become Prime Minister of Britain. He is also the first person of the Hindu faith to sit in that office, and may even be the first Prime Minister who comes to the job with more wealth than the British royal family. Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's exciting.
That's some tea on tea right there.
Head.
Yeah. Mr. Sunak, and again, I apologize for these names, a former banker and his wife, whose father co-founded the information technology company Infosys, are worth an estimated 730 million pounds, about 870 million. The late Queen Elizabeth II's wealth is estimated around 370 million, or 440 US dollars, according to the Sunday Times Rich List. Mr. Sunak was the Chancellor of Executor under Boris Johnson. Executor of Boris Johnson. He replaced Liz Truss, the embattled prime minister who served only 44 days. That's it, 44 days. That's something that needs to be researched right there.
And she still got a pension. She's good to go.
Dude, that's hilarious.
That was the funniest story ever.
I don't know a lot about this, but I'm super interested in knowing not only you're coming in, but you're coming in with more money. And there feels like an emerging plot twist here, whether we know it or not. But did you know anything of this story?
No, I had only heard about, the lady who served like 44 days.
Okay. I didn't know
who came in after her.
Okay. That I feel like this should be like really world news. I mean, I will take accountability if I straight up missed it, but that's a pretty big deal, especially with Harry and Meghan and all this coming out. Like, this feels like a juxtaposition of like overarching conversation of everything they're doing.
Well, I think I think it's great because like people are voting this man in, like England wants to change, which I'll be excited to see. So once again, I think it'll be a very interesting conversation around the monarchy and what do y'all do? What do we use? What do we need? So dude, I think this should be interesting. And especially since he comes from money, like, will he get them into like a good like spot financially? Will he help them make really good sound decisions for the country? I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah. All I'm thinking is if you already have money, that means you already have strategic partners. So you're working with someone somewhere that also moves chips. So whatever it is, I know you have a team of something somewhere, and I am happy about that and always here for all things evolution. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Stay tuned on TNT. And I did say earlier, I'm like, that's some tea on tea, like tea from there. It was a very, very cold medicine.
Yeah.
We want to bring it back just so you can cringe a little more. All right, 2022, we made it through the list. The FIFA World Cup is hosted in the Middle East for the first time. The 2022 World Cup was held in Qatar, a first for the country and for the Middle East. This is also the first World Cup to take place in the winter in the Northern Hemisphere. Qatar spent billions of dollars building facilities and upgrading its infrastructure in the lead up to the event. Thoughts?
That's a very, very interesting topic. So if people have time, there is a documentary on Netflix about this and how basically Qatar bought their way into getting, the vote. So that's been very interesting. And then also people have been talking a lot about kind of like from an environmentalism standpoint of what happens to all these buildings and infrastructure once the World Cup, Olympics, what have you leaves. And the answer is nothing. So very interesting stuff.
These conversations have been going on from all the Olympics because all these countries spent all this money,
we still do this.
Us.
And I know still let it deteriorate into nothingness.
I think it's ego. I really do. Like, come to my house. It'll be the best. And I don't know. Okay, that's that list. Let's get on to what we care about because we are a few shades above simple Americans. I'm only speaking for myself. But pop culture, I know you have some heat for us, so hit us with the hot takes. What you coming in with?
I only have one thing. My one favorite
Oh,
thing.
I'm astounded. Okay.
This is so, and I'm sorry, this is gonna be so silly, but did you ever watch any of the verses, like
Oh,
Timberland and Swizz Beatz situation?
yeah. I think I saw the Alicia
So
Keys
they had,
one.
oh, that was no. There's way better things you could have been doing
Okay.
with your time. That's a snooze fest. The one I'm talking about that happened this year, it was Mario versus who was it? Oof, God, it was so bad. Omarion. My
Oh,
God, it was so great. It was
oh.
one of those, it was so bad. It was like watching a car accident that it was so good. And then they had
Okay.
like opening up for them. So Ray J,
Oh, he's still
uh
around?
that's ma'am. Like
Oh,
I'll send you a link, but
please.
it was horrible. Like that man was not singing, I don't know what notes he was singing. They were not notes that happened to be on a
Wow.
piano. It was horrible. And that's what
Okay.
made it so great. They were all drunk. It was a grand old time. It was
Oh
one of
my
those like,
God.
this is so bad that this is so good. Like you just needed one of those moments
Wow.
while you're out.
It must have been notable because if that was like your top thing, like no Will Smith
That's my top
slap.
thing.
Okay.
We still, like, me and my best friend, me and my partner, we still make jokes about it to this day. It was
Okay, send me the
now I will
link.
say this, the DJ was amazing, but like think of like all the songs that we were into, like early 2000s, late
Yeah.
90s music in between each act. So that's the part that it was like, oh yes, this is, oh, I was in middle school, oh, I was in high school, like, the good
Yeah.
nostalgic
Yeah.
music that we're into. So that was great. Performances were insane. Omarion can't sing to save his life. Mario did circles around that man, and
Mario's
he's
good.
also a villain. Like he was but also you don't really know his personality. I
Yeah.
thought he was just like some classy man. No, he
Okay.
was like
Did you say a villain?
ridiculing. He was a villain. He was,
Okay.
but the
Okay.
villain you need because Omarion was that bad.
Oh,
So
wow.
I could
Man,
keep going. That was my
yeah, well,
favorite.
even if it's bad, look at even the press time they're getting now. Clearly, this is big press. But they're getting like
Yeah.
airtime, so like maybe it worked out. Like that's okay. I
Oh
wonder if
no,
like
like,
get more
but that's what
downloads.
made it so great. That's what made it so great because Omarion has been on this whole like, his group B2K, like they're outwardly saying how much they hate his guts and how he's
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah.
And he's been saying like, I do meditation, I do yoga, I rise above, but there was no rising above in
Once
that
it's out there, it's out there.
that versus.
I
Woo! It
you
was
know
the
I don't
best.
watch the Kardashians, but I saw one episode where he was like going on a date with Chloe, and this is before Chloe now. It was like Chloe like
Tristan,
a human
who?
Chloe.
Because they dated everybody and
Oh yeah,
anybody.
no,
Who
before
was
Tristan, this was like I think it was an episode I saw like 5 or 6 years ago, like before all of the full body makeovers and everything. And I think when she
uh-huh.
looked like more like a person, which I'm not even gonna commentate on any of that stuff, but it was one episode where they were like dating or something. He was on the episode, and that's kind of
Who
all that I
she was
remember of him.
dating? Who?
Chloe.
Omarion?
Yeah.
That's insane. Omarion is like 5'5",
Unless I'm completely wrong, but no,
and
I'm
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 being
like
generous.
I'm
That woman
98%.
is like 6 feet tall. That's
Yeah.
okay.
They
I
wait, I
guess.
shouldn't say they were he was
Okay.
on the show and it looked like there was romantic interest. So I don't know if they were dating or not, or maybe it was but it was definitely on it and they were friends and whatever. So I'm just putting it out there. I know. It's I'm unsurprised by most things. My quick list was it was short like yours. I said Will Smith in the slap. I think we're all tired of talking about it. At least I
Oh my
am.
God. You know what? That's why I didn't. That's why my list was one thing because I'm like, I know it's gonna be some. I
There's
knew
some
it.
some
And okay,
shit.
so now that all of this time has passed, what do you think?
I'm just over it. It happened. We saw it. I hope what we needed to learn. We learned from it. I don't think he handled. I think he needs to heal, take some time, take a breath. You are an influencer in this
Mhm.
world. You do have a lot of leadership. Like, we can do better. Like that can whatever. Yes, defense, whatever. Like we know we can't do that in this day and age. So I talked about physical communication. Fine, time and a place. Not on stage.
Talk about physical
Yeah,
communication.
not on stage with a billion humans watching. Like, let's work this out. We got to do better. That would be my take. What's your take?
Woo. Uh, I mean, my take is still the same. I think if you read his book and you don't idolize him, you would have seen it coming a million miles away. Like I was not surprised at all. I was like, oh
Okay.
well, here we go. Also, like, good for him, like, bolstering the economy. Shout out to my cousin Alicia. She has a Santa sweater and it says keep Santa's name out of your MF and mouth. Favorite
Oh my
sweater
God,
of the
that's
year.
hilarious. What? Where did she get it from?
It's great. I'm gonna ask her because now I want
Willsmith.com.
one.
I hope he's
I
monetizing
hope
it.
so.
I am weak
If
if
he's
he's
gonna do it,
monetizing it.
he better capitalize.
Dude, I mean, the England is. So why don't you just call the Rhoda, the in-house press, like
Right.
let's bring it full circle.
Notes.
Oh my God.
Honestly.
All right. Moving on. This is almost as deep. Bennifer 2.0.
Oh God. You mean no, what were they calling her? They were calling her Thanos. That's what her new name is.
Thanos? Like
Thanos.
Elizabeth, like Theranos? The Theranos girl?
No. You don't watch Marvel movies, do you?
No, I don't do any of that. I do documentaries.
Oh God. Okay.
I know, I don't know any of those.
Think of the Avengers, the last bad guy. His name was Thanos. He had this glove and it had all these jewels on it. So they were calling her Thanos because she had like a million different like engagement rings that she collected.
Okay. See, jeweled glove, I think Michael Jackson and rhinestone. So we're lost here. You lost me.
No, it was a little bit more heavy duty and sturdy than that glove.
That's wait, real question. And I'm impressed if you know this, but did she get to keep the original ring or did she give it back to him?
I don't know that. Actually, I'm not a I'm not a fan of that lady.
I'm not a fan. I'm just not like I wouldn't know anything. Like I don't know.
That's why I don't know because I'm like, I don't know. She gives me weird vibes. Also, social media update on Twitter. People have been revealing how terrible of a human she is.
I've been kind
Ben
of
likes
hearing
to
that.
try to tip people, like service people who'll try to tip people, and she'll take the money out of their hand and give them a $5 bill.
What?
She tells her drivers not to look at her. It's a whole thing.
I've heard that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I never fully believe either side. Like I'll wait for my own experience if it ever happens. Until then, side I always, but that's for everybody. I don't know. I think it's funny, but honestly, if you have the Theranos glove or whatever it is you so reference, that sounds like a retirement plan to me. If you've got every finger with a situation, so maybe the joke's on us because she's got a retirement in the bag. None of it's all paperless.
No,
There's no tracking.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's ever been about money. Like
I don't either.
I think there's some women in the world, and like some women want to be married, some women don't. Like that's okay, and some women, I don't know, like they just want to be wanted, and she doesn't give me long-term relationship vibes. And maybe they deserve each other. Maybe Ben is kind of weird too. I don't know, but I do think they deserve each other. Good for them for coming around after 20 years. Like, why not?
Hashtag whatever. I know.
Why not? Bring your
this is an equal space and it can be a 2-second response. Harry and Meghan.
Wonderful. Happy for them. Listen to the podcast.
Yeah, watch the documentary, then listen to the podcast. Taylor Swift versus. Oh, you have to, but this is specifically for you, just because I know you're a fan. Taylor Swift versus Ticketmaster. Tell me your hot take, but I put this on here intentionally because there's business disruption. But what is your space?
My hot take is who is paying to go see it anyway.
I mean, I wouldn't, but I would have. I wasn't gonna wait in line, but if I got tickets or something, I would totally do it. But it wouldn't have been on like my top 10 list. But for all the ones that are, I follow your heart or don't follow your heart if you're into Taylor. My thing is Ticketmaster is the biggest fleece situation ever. It's fees on top of fees. I think it was like $100,000. Yeah, crazy. So I don't know what the shakeout is of this, but she does make a point. Like she went to court for $1 when a radio guy touched her butt or something. Like she's gonna drive it in there. So I'm glad if we need someone to disrupt that relationship in that business situation, I'm 100% behind that. So that's that. It's craziness. A couple losses, and I don't know if you have any of this, and then we'll move on to our stuff. But Bob Saget and Naomi Judd, I do think those were two relevant humans that were notable. Naomi did a lot and just an intense conversation around mental health. And then Bob Saget was an unexpected loss. There was a lot of good he did in the world I think people didn't know. So just respects to those two. Did you have anyone else you want to add to the list?
Rest in peace to Takeoff.
Yeah. Was Nipsey Hussle this year? Was that 2 years ago?
No, Nipsey Hussle died a few years ago.
Oh, was that a few years ago? I have no sense of time. And then of
A
course
few years
Twitch. That
ago.
was heavy on
But
my heart.
the marathon still continues. I believe he died in 2020.
Okay.
2019 or 2020.
Ooh, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. I literally can't even think of what year is what, but it's still in the brain in here. Okay, are we ready for this?
I know. I know. And it like it keeps going. Oh God,
Oh man.
I think.
Okay, so if you've listened to us, smooth transition here. If you listened to us last year, year before that, or which are we have we done like 4 of these?
I can't even remember at this
I can't
point,
either. I think
to be
so.
honest.
Anyways, we're here now. That's all that
Sorry.
matters. We're hanging in there.
We
I
move
like this.
forward.
You were moving forward. I like this tradition. If you're listening, go download this sheet, do it every year, stick it somewhere where you
Yes.
can look at it. And I just put it on my documents, like on my Word. So it's on my computer and stored. It's a quick thing, but it was really cool to see my last year to this year. Ashley and I are going to like put our personal stuff out there. Well, not too personal, but personal-ish, of what we're doing
Oh,
and where we're checking, unless you want to, you follow your heart, what we're doing. And I really encourage you to do it. I think we had a little traction last year, but I would love to see this be a thing for people because it's quick, it's simple, and it's a good way to check in. So why don't you kick us off with your personal goals for 2023?
um, personal goals for 2023. So if you know me and know me well, you know that I usually like to meditate on like what my goals are, but kind of like what we were talking about in the beginning of the podcast is I feel like I've been grinding so much and I've achieved so much that I really need to take a minute to be like, okay, well, what goals do I want now? Because
Yeah.
I'm in like a really good space. So it's like, oh, I need to go and figure out some new goals. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like where I'm at in the moment.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, like you always have like smaller like professional things and personal things, but I think they've kind of like remained the same, at least. I will say like when it's like personal stuff that I'm looking forward to is just to continue with like the like tools that I use like therapy, meditation, and you know, just making sure that I'm always like widening my perspective on life, the world, stuff like that. Because I mean, that's been very like life changing for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. No like hard goals right
Yeah.
now. But also, I'm just trying to like stay more open
Yeah.
instead of like I have to get this done or else, you know.
I said something similar, like letting go and whatnot, but I looked at my old one and it was kind of similar to this. I carried over some of those things. Like these were quick 10,000 foot views, but continue to do clean eating and committed training, sleep and morning routine, bedtime routine, less TV. So these are like specific things. Be more still, more meditation and creativity, paint and create. So just more of that stuff. But that was kind of similar to what I put for 2022, which was interesting. And I think for all the
Okay.
things to your point that didn't come true, air quotes, in 2022, I kind of think I was in some of the same spaces. Like, did I really want that? Like, was it really things
Yeah.
that I wanted and it did not come true because I didn't do the work or whatever, or because I didn't truly want it? So I think
It was
there's some
a good thing.
evolution.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember us having before months before you know us chatting right now, but I remember we were talking about that like, well, I haven't done this, but I don't want that anymore. But I
Yeah.
think the part of life is like you at least have to go out and try to even know if you want it or not.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like move at all, like you have no idea what your life could have been. So I think it's good either way, whether
Agree.
you achieve it or not.
Agree. What that's kind of like the letting go because it's gonna happen or not. I do think you need to intentionally do the work,
Right.
but also things large order is gonna kind of pinball you where you need to go. So pack a helmet and a tequila, but you should know that by now. Did you write down specific goals? I said one word for 2023.
Yeah, so my one word for 2023 is well, actually, no, I didn't do that one. My
Okay.
word for no, hold on. I thought we hold on. Don't we always like go backwards and then forwards? I knew what my okay. Let me
Oh, we
explain.
might
Do a
I
word.
think we did a word for last year. So what my word last year was
Yeah,
courage, and then you do one for 2023.
yes,
We're figuring out the
yes.
tradition. Stay
So
with us.
I know we're working through it here. Stick with us. My word for 2022 would be fulfillment or attainment. So I would say 2020 and 2021, I spent those 2 years just really like grinding. Like I was working on like not necessarily getting into a new career, but just like getting into a role like that would be like my dream role. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like studying and acquiring like certifications, like all of that stuff. It was really aggressive. And then, you know, from a personal standpoint, there was a lot of like personal work that I had to do. So a lot of therapy, a lot of learning how to meditate, a lot of letting go of friendships that and relationships that do not serve you in order for you to move towards friendships and relationships that do serve you. So I feel like 2020 and 2021, I did all of that hard work, and I was just like, oh God, like, you know, and you're just like, God, I hope like I'm not doing this for no reason. I feel like 2022, I finally saw the fruits of all of my labor. So
Amen.
that's kind of what that's why I want to call 2022 like fulfillment and attainment. And I'm still mulling over what I want 2023 to be, because I'm like, okay, like I got my dream job.
Yeah.
I'm in like a really good relationship. All of my friendships are really great. All of my relationships with my family members are really great. Like, okay, how do we what else do you move forward to? So that's the space that I'm in right now.
So maybe your word is forward.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be deep on. I think people overthink what it is. Mine, I think usually it's the first thing that comes to you and to not overthink it. But I mean, that was definitely the theme of everything you just said. So as a branding professional, we're just gonna unpack that.
I'm here for it. And I thank you for the free advice.
Oh no, I'll invoice you. Don't worry. I'll send you an invoice right now. I'm just kidding.
I'm changing my email as
acceptable. Acceptable. I'm totally with you. I think I was unknowingly a little bit more in that space last year. And then this year, I actually had a deeper sense of clarity around a lot, but also intentionally seeking clarity on stuff, because I think I've whittled through more of what I don't want, which has put me more on path of what I do want. And some of and some of those things I think that I didn't know I wanted was more just fear-based, because I had been in those situations before, and it's like getting back into like corporate strategic partnerships and doing this path, and it's like, I remember all that fuckery. Like, do we really want to go there? But it doesn't have to be that way. So,
and I think that you've proved to yourself that it isn't that way. I'm actually very in particular for you. I don't know if it was your specific goal, but all of the CrossFit you've done, like those competitions, amazing.
Yes,
amazing.
I didn't see that coming. I really didn't know.
I didn't either.
We didn't, and it was weird to be in it. And this is, it kind of shows up in my list.
I know you always say like eat healthy and like working out, but like that was like a thing. Like you like really took it to the limit with like the competitions. You got into it, and I was super proud watching.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you guys, you saw, I mean, the shift when you go to that level, which was so good. And this, I hope if my young people are listening, because 2023, I really want to lean into leadership and helping leaders build leaders. And that's what the podcast has always been around. It's you, people like you, my people out there, you're leaders in everything you do, in your family, in your home, in your job, in the way you walk down the street, all of it. And really emphasizing that, because ironically, one of my little kiddos that I train with, she's 15, she's young, she's already a little rock star at CrossFit. She happened to be on one of my like fun event teams. They put us on, and I was blown away how this young human was so committed, whatever. And I didn't care how good that she was at CrossFit, just her training and her focus. And this is a little kid that is like really doing adult things. I'm like, this is what we need, these people. And ironically, she was there today. I haven't seen her in like 6 months. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't tell her all this because she'll think I'm a weirdo, but she's such a little rock star. And like, I just know whatever skills she's learning from sports, I've always said life skills through sports, but through this commitment and all this, and there's no one else in the class that's as young as her, but that is going to carry over to what she's doing now. And I've tried to spend a lot of time leaning into my young self, because I was similar-ish to that. She was certainly more committed than I was, but there was shit I just didn't care about, and I was focused and I was going to do it. And it's like leaning back into that energy. So even though I was training, this is a very long-winded point, for CrossFit with the mindset of competing, I actually think it was training me for something completely different. But universe was like, this bitch isn't going to listen unless we think it's going to CrossFit.
That's what I think sports is. And that's why I think we always refer back to like being like a team human. Like it has prepared you for all kinds of things that you've encountered in life.
Yeah.
It's life skill building.
Facts. Well, but even like all the project management stuff you've done, which is like leading projects, but like leading humans, being a leader, like I think that's phenomenal intel and education for family leadership, for community leadership, for everything else in your life. Do you feel like you pulled any of that for your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, having this type of job makes you want to be more organized.
Yeah.
Like, you know how like you're very organized in your work life,
Yeah.
but not so much in your personal life. Like it helped me level up. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to be applying all the principles and how I get people into shape at work. I need to be doing that for my personal life as well. So
yeah.
I I agree.
Fitness is my accountability for that. It's like, well, if you're going to stay up and eat a wine and cheese plate till 11 and then be tired and feel like shit during the workout, then I'm pissed off at the workout. So I know I'm not going to do that. Then we're going to go to bed a little earlier. We're going to eat a little bit cleaner. We're going to like all those things, like such an accountability piece. But if you know something, varsity is keeping you accountable, you're leveling up. Like the vibes are raising. So you got to stay in it.
Yeah. I feel like, I guess like a main point in life is like to just be an organized human, and you'll learn that either in, you know, like for me, project management, you have to be highly organized in order to be successful. And in your realm in sports, you have to be highly organized and know how to prioritize and make time for the things that matter in order for you to be successful.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a life lesson that like you just relearn with every like 10 years, I guess.
Agree. What was the 80s thing? You might have been with the rainbows, like the reading rainbow, and it's like the butterfly flying around. It was like educational video. Yes. I feel like we just did that.
Yes. We need to do a new one.
Yeah, seriously, like a more gangster butterfly. This is, I had a quick list. I think I cut off the top of it, but I think this is like things you hope for in 2023. But I just made a quick list. Sell ambassador course, full court press, continue to update it, monetize podcast, win right, ambassadors and partnerships, work with several large brands this year, more time in New York City and the mountains, and more YouTube and live sessions. Did you make a quick list of any of those things?
Okay. Wow. First of all,
those are 10,000 foot view
all
of ones.
the things.
Yeah. We got to get back to New York, man.
I mean, ouch. Hold on. What am I trying to do with my life?
You just preached on organization. I love this so much right now.
I know. I mean, like, yes, like organization for sure, but I think I keep going back to the point of like I've worked so hard, and I've been doing so much that I just don't want to like push myself. Not that I don't want to like achieve new things, but it's just like, man, I need to take a
breath. Well, yeah, let it all
need a breath.
Again, fitness metaphor, you cannot keep training without recovery. Like recovery is a part of the retraining process. So pull back and listen to your body and like let it marinate, man.
Yeah, either my word for the year is forward or recovery. We're fleshing that out. But I would say like continuing physical activity. I've gotten back into spin class. I used to just kind of like do it here and there and like mix it around with other things that I was into, but now I'm like, oh yeah, like let's just do this. And now it's turned into like a social thing. So me and a couple of my friends go together. So that's been a fun activity to do. What else? I just really want to like excel at my role. Like I know I'm good at it, but I want to excel and like just really like see where I grow in the company, because I really enjoy what I do and I want to see like where I can take that and how like further I can grow like over the years that I'm with my company. So just doing that, and honestly just continuing to learn and absorb, because the stuff that we do is not only is it just really cool, it's just very like big. It's really big, high level stuff. So I will say like my main goal in like 10 years, like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur all day. I want to just take all of that I've learned and done and like have my own business or contract or consult, whatever, but whatever would make me ready for like, you know, like having kids and, you know, being around and being a supportive parent. So that's kind of like that's always been my overarching goal, is like, what moves do I need to make strategically to, you know, like for getting married and having kids. Cause
Yeah.
so like, yeah, you want to make more money because we're millennials and whatever. We already had that conversation. And yeah, like, do you want to spend time with your kids or do you want to be working all the time? Okay, then I need to think like, am I going to be working at a company for the rest of my life? Or am I going to own my own business and have a little bit more time? So
Yeah.
those are the things that go through my mind and kind of like drive forward like my decisions.
I like it. I think those are big things, and I would say dream big on all of that because the possibilities and the mindset of abundance, like especially if you're intentional and you're showing up and like you feel like you're on path, I think it can be bigger
Yeah.
and better than you even dream. And maybe that's even like
Oh yeah.
retired sum of money and you staying at home. Like I think it can be like whatever your heart
Yeah.
desires.
You're
But
gonna
those are
have to
good
talk to
things.
my partner about that. He's been saying that he wants to be the stay-at-home dad. So
Oh, okay. You
mhm.
let me know how
I'm
that
like,
goes.
okay, do I get 3 square meals?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be very demanding if I'm the only one working around here.
Okay, keep the therapy going on for both sides. That would be my
Well,
only
yeah, I know.
suggestion
I'm like,
there.
I'm
In
like,
the mean,
I mean, we'll see how fun you'll think it is.
I was gonna say, I mean, I'm the oldest of four, and I remember youngest was born when I was 13, and I remember I think it's great, and I think if you love it, you love it, and whatever. But to each their own, and I would say cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah. Oh no, I believe me, I'm open to it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, all right, two blessings for this year that you wrote down, or two. All right, I did.
Blessings that happened this year, or
Yeah, actually, this is more of the, I guess, the reflection. I think I mixed it up anyways, but
yeah.
I wrote two
Oh
blessings.
no,
I think I did it the mindset that happened this year that are going to prepare me for next year. So in the future. So
see,
what were
I
your two
love that. And
blessings?
see, that's where I feel like, you know, how I keep talking about like I did all of the work and now it happened like the past 2 years and now everything happened this year. So I will say my two blessings, and they can be kind of, well, one isn't vague, but I will say like got my dream job, which I, to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to get my dream job until like a few years down the line. I thought
Okay.
I was going to work up and like maybe be headhunted for something else.
Okay.
So very shocked that it happened this
Yeah.
fast and very thankful. And
Yeah.
then the other thing is more of like a higher level type of thing. I just said perfect timing. So people who do know me, they know that my partner that I'm with now, like we dated like 7 years ago. We just needed some time to like time apart, grow up, be an adult, and then come back together. And it's like amazing. So that's been really
Aw.
cool. And like I kind of said before, like just like perfect timing of like me being in therapy, like other family members being in therapy, and like we all get along really well now. Like it's just, yeah, I just feel like all of the like patience that I've had has paid off
Oh.
this year. So
Okay.
that's been like really, really big blessing for me this year. So are we going to talk about challenges? Because I remember that
Oh
was
yeah,
like part
yeah.
of
No,
like the
we got blessings, challenges, 2 points of personal, 2 points of professional growth, two things. Yeah, we're
yes.
still going. My blessings outside of my dog being the most outside the door. I have no idea what she's doing. Uh Sweet God.
Hey
I need,
Colette.
yeah, I was gonna say, you already know.
You
Downtime is
already know.
brought back. Dude, I need to figure out, I think I need to start eating
Yes.
dog food if this is the energy she has, because it's a whole thing. But two blessings. Downtime has brought back drive time. And feeling the competitive fire in fitness again. It's preparing me for something else. Kind of what I talked about earlier.
Yes.
I think I pulled back personally, professionally, and just chilled. I didn't feel the push or inspiration, not in a negative way, but I was just not into a lot of
Yeah.
things. Outside of working
Mhm.
out again, which like that's kind of my soul. So it was really nice to be back in it. And a lot of events actually didn't go the way I wanted them to go. And it was almost weird and like it was like being back in high school and you already graduated, and it was bizarre because it's like a lot of the same people and it was awesome. And I'm so thankful
Yeah.
so many of those people are back in my life, but it felt a little weird. So I don't know that the competitive space was the track I needed to be on. It was more just get in that mindset to get on to whatever I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing. So that was a huge blessing for me this last year. I don't think I saw coming at all. So that was good. And for
And
anyone that
you seem
competes or
so
knows,
happy. Like I was so happy.
yeah, when the fire is on and you're excited about something, like it's on, but there's no faking it. Like it can come on and you're into it or you're
Yeah.
not. Like there's no gray area. So I was glad it came on. All right, two challenges.
Two challenges for me this year. I would, oh my God, when was that? May. I was laid off. What a challenge.
Oh, that's
What
right.
a
Yeah.
time.
Oh my God, I forgot about
I
this.
know,
Yes.
right? It seems like so long ago, but yeah, like just being laid off is like a whole experience in itself. You always, like, you're not supposed to take it personally, but it's hard not to. So
Yeah.
like dealing with that aspect of it. And then I work in the tech industry, so everyone in tech was being laid off. So just trying to find a job while everybody else is being laid off was interesting. So
Yeah.
obviously found a new job, thank God. And then I will say, like, I guess my other challenges work related, but my new job, it's been a very aggressive learning curve. Now I always get good feedback of like, oh my God, you're doing great, blah, 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 like, yay. But this shit is hard.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
hard. And partially like, it's not because the job itself is hard, it's because of the circumstances that have like been taking place. So like some stuff that I can't really like discuss, but it's been just more of like I've had to step up to the plate a little bit quicker than anticipated. But the good news is I have stepped up to the plate, gotten good feedback, but that doesn't make it any less harder.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that.
The wine intake has increased.
I think that's good. Again, my young self committed to a East Coast top 20 team in the country. I had no business being there, Colorado lacrosse. But the second you get there, man, it is a kick in the face, but you level up so much faster. So I think that's amazing. And I'm not surprised at all. You could tread water and then outswim them in due time. I could totally see that 100%.
Yeah.
My challenges were getting clarity on what I actually want, which we kind of talked about, and two, being back in the competitive fitness space, but positive overall. So it was really challenging to be back in it and not be as good as I was. Because back in the day, I was training, 2 to 5 hours a day minimum, 5-6 days a week doing, and I can't even now my lifestyle. I didn't want it to be like that because there's no going back to that. But just not being able to do what you did, even though you're not doing that kind of training is weird. So that was challenging, but it was good to have the challenge. And I think it was good to be okay with where I was at, even though it was good comparatively, but it wasn't best me I've ever been at, if that makes sense.
No, believe me, I feel you. So you know how I said like I've really taken up spin class?
Yeah.
Part of that is because I used to years ago, and the pandemic like threw a wrench in all of this, but I used to do pole fitness classes.
Oh, yes.
Like consistently. Ever since I graduated college and up until the pandemic. So from 2013 to 2020, I had done pole fitness classes. And the thing about that is even if you don't do it for like a month or 2 months, like you build calluses on your hands and wherever you touch the pole with, like in between your legs, on your knees, on your feet, you build up calluses there so it doesn't hurt anymore. When that shit is gone, that is the most painful thing you could do to your body. And then you're like, why am I doing this? This is ridiculous. So I tried to go back to pole fitness class, and one, it hurts so bad. Like imagine putting a metal pole between your legs and having to hang your body weight there. Doesn't feel good. And then on top of that, it requires a level of like conditioning that I didn't realize I had. Like I was a full-blown athlete.
Yeah.
Like climbing up a pole, flipping upside down, spinning and coming down gracefully. That's athlete type stuff right there. So I give my younger self like major kudos for doing that very easily. I didn't think I was that in shape at the time. And now that I'm like, heading into my mid-30s, I'm like, a sweaty pig, but you
got to get back in it.
Well, I'll get back there, but not as fast as I thought. But
acceptable.
That realization of like you are not who you used to be it was rough. I almost cried after class one day. It's
an awakening, and you haven't done something for a while, you don't realize how bad at it you've gotten. So there is an awakening of like, oh my God, I can't. And I was unknowingly ramping up to stuff, and I was still disappointed. If I had gone in like off COVID, where we were just training at home and not doing anything, and like had those expectations, like there might have been a deep breakup with CrossFit, because I would have been like heartbroken of how bad it was. But it's the first day is the hardest getting back, and you just got to stay in it. But it's you got to have grace along that journey, because it's going to be different.
It was rough. It was pretty aggressive.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 2 points of personal growth. We got 2 points of personal growth and then 2 points of professional growth.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of like touched on like the professional growth, just trying to like grow
Yeah.
into my role, blah blah. Personal growth, I think for 2022 that I'm proud of myself is asking for help. You
Hmm.
know, I was always known for, well, I view myself as always being known as being very self-sufficient, but at the end of the day, it really does take a village.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate my village, which I know you are, well, you know, you're a part of. So
Here
just
for you.
like any, like, you know, just even trying to look for a job, like my friends and my family were like, oh, like, okay, like I can get you an interview, blah, blah, blah. What is this? What do you need? And, you know, like, I mean, even like smaller things like my party, like, you know, you'll show up with your margarita stuff and make a fabulous margarita, but it's just more of like asking for help instead of being
Yeah.
like, oh, no, 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 I got it. Just come and hang. It's like, no, like you bring some ice, you bring a margarita, you bring a key lime pie, and
Yeah.
then we all just have a good time. So,
Facts.
like learning to delegate, which is my job, I've learned to like put
Carry
that
it
into
over.
my personal life.
Sometimes that's funny though, because you can be like, I can be so dialed in and like intentional and detailed at the gym, and then come home and like one dog's jumping off the wall, the car's running in the driveway, and like there's always like some order to the chaos, but it's completely
Yeah.
different than like the gym. So sometimes it's like sometimes the business stays at the business and the personal stays at the personal, but it's like it's good to carry those skills over and out
It's good to
throughout.
mix, but also like just learning in general, like even outside of it just being like a business thing, like you really do need to learn how to delegate in your life if you're going to have
Oh
any
yeah.
kind of success, and you need to learn how to ask for help. Like even with like for example, like with my partner, like he's the most helpful person you'll ever meet, but I have to learn like to ask for help because I'm
Yeah.
so used to doing things myself. So it's not that he doesn't want to help me, he's very eager to help me. I just need to learn how to ask, like,
Yeah.
and it could be like the tiniest of things, like even at our party I'd be like trying to reach up for something super tall, he's like, you know, I can like get that for you, you know. It can be like the smallest things, like I got
I like
it.
that. I like that he kind of encouraged the communication in that as well. Instead of
Yeah,
just being
yeah,
like, move, I
no,
got it. Like, and just like, but you out of the way. Like having like
yeah,
making
no,
it a point to make it a thing. I
he's
love it.
Canadian, he's nice.
Get it. Mine too, a personal growth was more comfortable speaking and owning space, which I actually did a little bit in 2022 in speaking, but like leaning, I think, more into the specifics and like taking and seeking opportunities, and then clarity on purpose. Last year, I feel like I was very 10,000 foot view. Like, I think I know what to do. Now I'm like very clear that it's like leadership. I don't have fully have the plan, which I actually never will because that's not how I roll. But being intentional with brands and I think I can get convoluted in mission driven humans and change the world, where it's like very dialed into like leadership, like leaders out here getting them together and keeping it very like universal in the communication. So we are in simple understanding. And I don't know, I think the more clear I get on it, the more clear it makes for everyone else. So that's a very, very long winded point around clarity, not to be ironic,
No, I
but
and I love that, but I feel like that's been your journey. Like
yeah,
even with this podcast, it started with like a very big, wide concept,
yeah,
and then you've been narrowing it down, but it's all like worked out. Like
totally.
nothing is never not worked. Everything is worked out perfectly when you try to set out to do something for this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The audio, I don't know that shout out to Theon, my audio engineer would agree. The first ones were rough till we got him. But that was part of the journey and the learning. So I will take your compliment
Theon
wholeheartedly.
was part of the journey, and shout
Yeah.
out to Theon.
Yes.
In my face.
Facts. All right, 2 points of professional growth. We have talked about this a little bit, but is there two things I did specific kind of goals on this? I basically did my own take on all these. So lean up wherever you want. What are like two specific goals you have professionally?
Kind of like what I said before, just like really like excelling at my role, like
Yeah,
growing in the company, seeing where that takes me, and then learning and absorbing for, you know, in 10, however many years that I want to start my own thing.
love it. Um, I did finish the ambassador course, or finishing, but like I want to fully like really kick it into gear and like add on to it and have some legs on it. But we did get it done. We've got to fine tune some things, but that's done. And then the second one is leaning more into coaching and developing this whole human approach. And I've put out the money that I want it to be $100,000. And while the sticker shock is a lot, it's a very encompassing 3 months thing with like 8 different coaches and like human optimization, from like your finances to like your neuro performance to your physical body. It's a lot. It's basically all this shit I've had to pay by myself and find different people that can do it, personal professional journey, or athletic journey. However, the key piece is like I've been so blessed to have great people, so I've like weeded out the best ones and like the most hidden fields you can find and putting that together. So long-winded answer, but we're putting that into universe.
I love this. Once again, going with the journey, because you've had a journey of meeting so many people and so many cool stuff too. So this is so exciting.
We're figuring it out. We are figuring it out. 2 things I appreciate about last year.
Ooh.
Besides Will Smith. Just kidding.
Definitely a good time.
Yeah.
Things I appreciate about last year. I said staying true to setting my boundaries.
Oh, good one.
Yes.
I like that.
And so the way that I'll explain it is kind of like what I've been repeating is like I worked really hard for what I'm experiencing right now, but also that meant like I had to like cut some old shit off or like end certain things in order to like bring new stuff into my life. Yeah. So, I mean, for an example, like there was someone that I was dating last year. Had I like let it drag on, I wouldn't be experiencing what I am today.
There you go. Okay.
So like that was one. And then, yeah, like just kind of what I said before, like just the thing that I appreciate is like the really hard work that I put in last year. So there were times like in 2020 and 2021, I'd be like, what am I doing all this for? Am I actually going to like any return from all of this? Like, or am I just doing this and am I going to hit a wall? So I'm just in a very thankful, grateful moment that I've seen change.
I love that. And I've definitely seen change. And you're always one of my inspirations to like stay in like the personal evolution, stay in the professional evolution, because it's constantly like this self-awareness. That's something I so appreciate about our friendship, is that I always know you're like driving the edge of the knife, and that's how I want to be, because that's the point of whatever our purpose is. But I've seen that evolution, and I love that you just shared that, because I think moments of this past year, I can totally identify with like, what am I doing? What am I doing this for? Does it matter? Is anyone listening? Is it working? Like, you know that it is. And there's no point of giving up, really. But it's like that questioning, I think, is so big. So if you're listening to this and you feel that way, Ashley is the most perfect example of like, just stay in it. The plan might not be revealing itself in a super digestible way, but in some way it's working. So just keep the faith and keep showing up. And then like at some point the pivot's going to happen.
Yeah, 1000%. And it may not. Well, one thing that I will say is things may not go how you want them exactly when you want them. So like, but the timing will always be perfect. So when things do finally happen for you, you'll be like, oh, that's why like it didn't happen that time 6 months ago. It happened to happen like this. And on top of that, it happens way better than you would have thought. So as long as you're staying open and not being so specific of like, it has to happen on this date in this way, you're going to be okay, because it will come to pass. But if you put too many rules and regulations around stuff, I think that's where failure and like disappointment starts to creep in.
Completely agree. It's such a weird balance of like letting go and like being intentional.
Oh my God. And talk about control person. Yeah. So the part of letting go was rough, especially in 2020. That was Jesus.
Dude, I don't know. I don't have good things. I would just tell my young people, like, you have to just know that it's not going to go according to plan, but still work hard and do your plan. Like, still do it. And it makes no sense. Two things
according to plan in the best way. Like, you'll be so thankful that it didn't go according to your plan.
Yeah. And like, we heard that growing up, but it was like, yeah. I have lacrosse practice by. But now I'm hearing them as, oh, maybe we should have listened to that a little more, but whatever. We paid a lot of money to figure it out. So that's great. We made it. Yeah, there's no, I don't know, timing. All right. 2 things I appreciated about last year, for sure, getting back into fitness. it was the physical, but it was also the mental, but so much of my community and my mission driven humans, and being around the fit fam and my fellow competitors more. It's not even just about training and what did you PR in this. It's like, oh, you also run a company and you're running a marathon. There's two people I've trained with that run marathons regularly, and they're doing all the extra whatever. So like they carried all that competitive energy outside the world. It's just so good to be around people like that again. And obviously I have my friend humans that are like that as well, but to be immersed in that, I think on a daily practice was really, really good. And my soul needs that. I'm used to like that. My young self was that. So I think I need that team practice every day.
Part of who you are.
Yeah, just getting run over daily. I'm a masochist on so many levels. I don't know why my body's not appreciating that. All right, 2 ways I was kind to myself and self-care. So, I did this in I guess in retrospect, like looking back, like was there 2 things last year you did that were self-care, or two things you want to do coming this year?
2 things that I did last year. So once again, spin class, like really got into it. So that's been great. Like that, like, especially if I've had a really stressful, long work day, it's a great way to like decompress.
Yeah.
So just doing some sort of physical activity and making the time for it and sticking to it that's been my self-care for that. And then travel, like this year I went to Jamaica, then I went to DC. Yeah. I went to the Bay Area. Like I was hopping all over the place. It was so much fun. So, and if you know me, you know I thrive best in a place that is warm with like a beach.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a traveling heart. I think that's important for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For
and
sure.
Specifically the warm beach part.
Specifically, not the Colorado weather the week before or last week. Oh my gosh, that was another level. No. That was our Harry and Meghan podcast. You'll hear about it if you listen to it. 2 ways I did. It's funny because I love that our answers are coming up repetitively because then you know it's the truth, even if we plan this out. Yeah. I allowed myself to do less and I let go, but still working on that more. So I really did pull back because I like didn't want to do anything. Like I really wasn't excited about opportunities that were coming in, but like even less opportunities that were coming because I wasn't really like my energy wasn't to it. So I really think I needed that like space to be like, okay, I'm not bored because I'm never bored. There's always shit moving, but I'm like, I think I'm ready for more. I'm ready for the challenge. Maybe we don't have to go in and have, you know, the contract with 8,000 ambassadors, which we probably will, but like maybe it doesn't need to be a full pack a helmet situation, but I'm ready for that now. So that pause was good. We'll work on the balanced approach, but it will likely not happen. And then the letting go of also like, here's what I want, but also I'm just trust that I'm prepared now and more than I was last year. And I'm ready for whatever needs to come in.
I love that. You were jogging my memory. I remember like meditating and getting ready for 2022. And I just kept having like a thought in my mind that kept saying like, get ready, get ready, get ready. Okay. So I think like that was kind of like what's happening for you. Like you need to like take this time to like chill out because it's about to ramp up and get crazy.
Yeah. I'm definitely here for it. Like I'm ready for that. For the fire, I guess. I'm a little bit nervous to be honest. But in a good way. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm like you need a little bit of nervousness and just a little tiny hint of fear to push you forward.
Oh yeah, I'm totally a pressure animal where it's like the world's ending, go save it versus like, do you want to do something today? Nah. Like let's just go save the world. Or have the illusion that we can at least. I do think like last year something came, and I actually was thinking about this ties in, I guess a little bit reaching. We went to dinner with your mom. We were talking about fitness and stuff. And she's like, I like the feeling of being capable, you know, feeling my body, feeling strong. And I was like, totally identify with you. And you're like, yeah, but I also like someone that can do that something for me. And like there's support in the space. And that had come up in my conversation last year around support, being taken care of, which I'm still here for. Yep. But I really thought about that conversation a few times because I was like, well, I want both. Like, I think I swung so far of the, like, I'm ready for support. Let's kick back, whatever. But the reality, I think the fitness came in because it's not if I want the support or not, that the importance of me feeling capable, like I don't need to lift the bar a bunch, but if I had to, I need to know that I can do that. Or if I'm in a life situation where I need to be able to perform, I'm here for someone doing something for me, but it's important to me to be capable. So I think that preparation kind of happened last year of now I'm ready because all that training and just really the mindset came in of like, okay, you're capable, now support can come in and we can do maybe some of these larger tasks, whatever, with a team. But does that make sense? Did that reaching?
No, that makes complete sense. And I love that. But
Yeah.
once again, going in with like, get ready, get ready, get prepared.
Yeah.
So I think you really have been doing exactly that.
I hope so. But no, because I was thinking about it, and then I was like, when your mom's conversation, I really thought of it. And I was like, well, wait, like you do need to feel capable, but you are here for support. And I was like, well, because we all three had like different answers, and it just like ruminated
Yeah.
in my mind for a while. But it provided clarity, and like the answer is kind of all three. It's just knowing like what you
Yeah.
want, where you stand. So, anyways, long-winded point.
I love
But
it.
I like that it was like all things are like they are teeing up. We're
Yeah.
unintentionally
Like they
redundant.
and everybody's in different like spaces and times in their lives.
Yeah,
So, like you'll want something different for yourself
totally,
at any given
totally.
moment.
All right, two people you're grateful for. I did I mean the two things that I said, one you won't be surprised by. I guess we're kind of last year and in moving to next year. So any which way you want to take this. Do you want to go first?
I will say like this past year, I mean, I hate to like whittle it down to two people. So
Well,
I'll
follow your
just
heart
say
then, do
like
whatever you want.
two. Like, yeah, so I will say my family because in my family friends, like you guys really are like my village, and you all really show up for me. And I talk about this all the time. I'm very into reciprocity, and like that's what I love so much. Like I show up for you guys, you all show up for me, and it's just one whole cool situation. And I will say like, new person I'm like thankful for. I'm gonna be like super redundant, but my partner, he's been like, I mean, you saw at the party how helpful he was at my holiday party. Like, and the stuff that you didn't see, like he was, I don't know, he was like building things for me. He was like moving my furniture around. Like he's doing like a million. I was running him ragged. Okay. Like ragged. And then he proceeded to like clean my apartment after everybody left. He's just a really good human. So highly thankful. And like I'm used to doing like parties by myself. So I'm just like, all right, get to half of this tonight, half in the morning. And no, like I got to go to bed with a clean house. It was nice. So yeah,
love language.
Super thankful.
Yeah, I love that.
Look, when you get into your 30s, people, you don't care about what, I mean, yes, he buys nice things. That's fine. But what really excites me is that he mopped my floors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Acts of service.
Going.
Yes. I'm
you took
100%
out my trash.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I love it. No, I saw him clean it in and doing all this stuff. But it's a little things and in between. I completely agree with you. It's not, I'm not the grandiose gesture type. It's a little everyday stuff that matters to me. I'm here for the helicopter ride with the diamond ring ending, but would I rather you mop the floor for 365 days? Probably something of both. But I'm really here for the acts of service so much.
Right.
Agreed. Don't sleep on the diamond helicopter trip though, whoever's listening.
Like, no, that's still on the books.
Come correct. Mine for this year especially, I said number one was my mom. She's always been like the number one believer, kind of like we alluded to earlier this year. It's like, I mean, it's so much of the work and she's seen the journey, and I can only imagine what my family thinks that I'm doing or thinking, because I kind of just do my own thing and it makes sense in my world, but it's the minority compared to what the rest of the world, how everyone else operates. So I know it's not the most digestible situation. But my mom has always seemed to like get it. Like she never knows what I'm doing, even though I know she knows, but she just always kind of knows that I'm on path, and she's just so supportive and saying like, stay in it. Don't take this corporate opportunity you don't want to do, even though the money's great or it looks easy. She's like, just seriously do, like, we've done enough of the things that weren't a fit that you could do, but like wait for the thing now that you really want to be doing, and blah blah blah. So she has really been good, because this has been a year of like, what do I actually want to do? Like, what are we doing? And not in a lost way. It's more of like, let's be intentional at 42 and pick it out and not get around the stuff that the stuff that's just good enough. So she's just been so good about that. And my second one is the Madonna of me, myself. I said the older I get, the more I appreciate the younger, determined self, even the super cringy moments. Kind of we talked about earlier. There's so much I did wrong as a young or it's just like dumb stuff where you're like, oh my God, like pre-therapy, whatever, cringe all over the board. But my committed young athletic business collegiate athlete self, and even just like my own training, like that was like a clear part of my soul. So kind of getting back into that. I think acknowledging things we did along the way. I don't know if you're good at this or not. You might be, but like, coming through, challenges or adversity or stuff when you're little and you don't have tools, like you look back and it's pretty miraculous to be like, young self,
Yeah.
you did a good job. Do you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, once you get through the cringe, yes.
There's so many things where I'm like, oh, like, God, you said what, you did what, like, really? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And like giving yourself grace is like a skill. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think are you excited for 2023?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too.
I don't have like any like anxiety. I'm more of like, I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah. Agree.
But
I agree. I have a little bit of an edge of like what's coming. But I'm good. That's good for me. But I feel like I have no idea and we're into it. Did you write down anything like specific you wanted? Even though I know you're in the flow state right now.
Yeah, I'm in like a real flow state right now. Like, and I don't do my vision board until like the end of January. So I
Okay.
usually kind of like those opinions. I don't know. And I know like I formed stuff last year, but I'm just really in this mode of like, let me see what is really like speaking to me before I write something down.
Yeah.
Because it'll probably change.
Okay. Did you do the I statements?
I was gonna rapid fire those.
Okay.
What do you have?
Well, I did. I wrote down just for my goal things. I'm kind of like you. I'm letting it go. I did write down a mountain house, 100K in savings, ambassador course, whole human approach course. So they're not even like well built out, but that's just what I like threw out on the page.
No, but those are yes.
Yeah, but let's do your statements, and then did you do a mission statement?
Did I do a mission statement? No, meditate. I didn't do my homework, y'all. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're in a flow space. I actually think it's on brand.
Parts of it, I'm like, yes. And then parts of it, I'm like, I really want to like sit and think about this.
Okay.
So no mission statement yet, but I still, it might have the word forward in there.
Okay. I mean, maybe you needed this conversation to have the clarity. You what?
Yeah, that I feel like we were kind of working through it right now. Thank you for this therapy session. Still changing my email.
I was gonna say invoice is building. We're running the tab. All right, how about I do my I statements and then because my mission statement's actually like 10,000-foot view, which I don't like because I actually think this is the year to be specific when it happens. So like the clarity for me is like, you want the 100 grand in the bank, you want the 100 grand, like you got to be specific. There was a neon green. It was not a Lamborghini, but that's what I want. But a car parked behind my mom and I went on our shopping trip. Like the odds of that, like there's certain things. So like I'm like we're envisioning that. I took a picture. I'll send it to you. It's actually really hilarious. Literally parked right behind us. Like the table was sitting right there. Anyways, I'll read mine and then my statement, and you can read your eyes. And if you have a statement that happens to come together, you can put it out there. But mine's pretty general. So I said, I believe I can and I will. I will achieve my purpose or really begin it. I see myself as a leader. I choose to be, one word, a leader. I am worthy of abundance. I am a leader. Running theme here. Mission statement was to fully step into the space that I have been building my whole life and drive it to the next level. This is the year of things to elevate. Opportunity is everywhere, and I'm right on time. It was actually kind of similar to last year. But hit us with your statements.
I will say, I believe, this is going to be so corny, but okay. I believe that I can achieve, because you do all of that work and you're not sure, and then you're like, oh shoot, well, what else am I about to do? So that's what I mean by I believe I can achieve. I will achieve. I don't know what I need to think of. Once again, that goes into like, what am I moving forward? What am I pushing forward to? So we'll TBD that.
Okay.
I see myself as inspirational, which I would never usually say out loud.
I like that. Hear it, listen to it, hear it yourself. Yeah. Okay. I would completely agree. You're inspirational. 1,000%. Clearly I'm biased, but I would completely agree
Right.
to someone that doesn't know
Yes,
you. Yeah.
but you know, like there's certain words that like you want people to say about you, not
Oh
necessarily
yeah.
say that you say about yourself.
Yeah. But I think it's, but again, as a leader, like if you don't know it and own the brand, no one's ever going to believe it either. So I think that's like a very cliche, distant business perspective, but I think it's good. And I think you need to model. I'm glad you said it. I hope young women and men or
Yeah.
anyone out there can be like, oh yeah, I am inspirational. I am this, like live in it. I think that's good. You just did that. So gold stars.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, I choose to be in peace. I feel like I finally achieved that. That was the main reason why I started therapy in 2020. And like, yes, I am that, but I choose to be that every day.
Yeah.
And
Good on
that takes practice and skill.
That's so funny you said that because when you were saying it was maybe it was I will achieve or something. I was thinking peace for you. I was literally thinking that word because I think sometimes when you don't want for things or like there's not a goal in front of you, I think you are in a good
Yeah.
space of just being present and that's enough. Like I do think we always think we have to be like, what's the goal? What's the next thing? You can get to a
What are
spot,
we doing?
yeah, where you're just good. There's intel in that. And like I think you always need a little bit of a drive and a goal or something, but like also appreciate this peaceful space. It doesn't last forever, even if you're intentional, whatever. Like enjoy the right now. I think that's deeply insightful. And that I was literally thinking peace, and you said that. That was very weird, but I completely agree.
I think that and that's funny that you said that because I think the reason why my worksheet has been a little different this year because I truly have achieved peace this year. Like I've never felt more peaceful. I don't feel on edge about anything or any people. And like I of course moved through that through the course of the year, but I can say like right now at the end of the year, I truly do feel peace. And I'm here for that.
Yeah.
That's nice. And yeah, I feel relaxed. And even last year, one thing I was meditating on was that became my, you know, mission statement was, you know, like live in the moment and, you know, just like take in all of the hard work that you've done and see what happens. And I think that requires you to be in peace because you're not really like going after something.
Amen. I mean, I will completely second that. You've earned it. You've deserved it. It's here. And I think because you've achieved it, these other good things have come in. Like not just like financial and good job, but it's like a job people you want to be like a partner that is a long-term situation. Like some really like rooted, I want to say like rooted fruitful rewards. I don't know if that's the right word, but
yeah, like long-term fruitful stuff, which I'm just like, that's why I'm like, whoa, what else am I what are we doing? Because I feel like I achieved like I think that's one of the hardest things is finding like what you are excited to do every single day for years on end. And of course, like that might change, but I mean, but at least I'm happy today. I'm not like the past at least 5 years, I've always been taking positions that I knew that I would build towards something else. Not like, whoo, I can sit back and relax here because I like it here. No, it's like, no, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do it well, and then I'm gonna move on.
Yeah.
So I finally feel like, all right, I can put up some furniture. I can get comfortable.
Yeah. That's such a millennial mentality. I love it so much. Like, I'm here, you got 10 minutes, you got 2 years with me.
2 years. Yeah. I'm out of here. What do you have for me? Bye.
Our parents are like, I've been here for 40 years. I'm like, oh, hell no. That's definitely not going to work out.
And what's really funny, my mom was not like that at all. I actually learned this from my mom. She's a boomer. So
I believe
she didn't play. Like, of course, she had jobs that she had for a long time. Like her last job, she was there for 16 years. But prior to then, especially when she was my age, she would take jobs for like 2 to 3 years and then go on about her day when it didn't serve her anymore. So I'm just glad that she taught me that that's okay.
I love it. Zero surprises on my end. That was entirely on brand. And check out my podcast with her as well. I think it was like 161.
Shout out to Mama Lucy.
Yeah. Dr. Lucy. Did you listen to it?
Of course.
She crushed
it. That was
yeah.
so good. I'm so proud. Also, my mom,
influencer.
Shout out to Mama Lucy. She says that the tables have turned in like a fun way where she is Ashley's mom.
Oh,
Like
I
that's her
like
title
this.
now. Not like Lucille
Aw.
Johnson. She's Ashley's mom or
I
Mama
love
Lucy.
it. Dr. Lucy. Dr. Lucy. I was trying to lay it in there as much as possible. I'm like, we gotta rep that everywhere. All over the
Oh,
place.
believe me, she loves it.
I
She
love it
loves
so much.
it.
As she should. Like, go with it. Well, I appreciate your time and energy. I think I want to get to your peaceful space by next year. I think I'm ready. I don't want to say the
I
word
think you
settling down.
will.
Yeah, no, I think I will. It's because I need
Wow.
the rambunctious, like I just see like a tumbleweed going across like the desert prairie, like that's my world. But I need that, but just maybe like a little more flow and the peace. I think I'm ready for, like, I think my soul loved chaos and now we're ready for peace. We'll see. But I love
Yeah, I
how
really
you put
think
that.
that you're ramping up right now, and
Yeah.
then you'll get to that peace, like flow, chill state. But
Yeah.
you have like really like some really cool stuff that you've been baking for
Yeah.
years, and now it's time to like full on execute and then see the fruits of your labor in a green Lamborghini, which I can't wait to ride in.
Yes. Oh, be there. And we'll go pick up my $195 million Monroe painting. Once we'll see how that works
Great.
out.
I'm going to pick up a very expensive bag. I'm going to go get a Birkin. So
Acceptable.
I've already been telling everybody that will listen to me that I'm going to have one in 10 years. So
Oh, for sure. I think sooner than that, but I'll support that. But I'm going to say probably sooner. We'll see. Do you have any closing words to wrap up our annual preview podcast?
I mean, as usual, I'm always so thankful that you do this with me every year, and definitely want to like keep pushing people. If you haven't done this yet, please just start it. And like, you don't have to like shoot for the stars if you don't feel like it, but if you do, please do. But the main thing is that you see that over time you progress, and you progress more than you think you do. And that's why I love doing this with you. So hopefully we can, venerate that message to the masses and everybody gets on the same page. And do your vision boards. That's my last message.
I gotta do a new one. I echo. Thank you. I received.
I'm having a party, so you'll get an invite.
Well, let me know. No pressure.
I got a request to bring the vision board party back.
Let's do it. I'm 100% in. Plus champagne and or gin. I think that's what I did for my last one. But I appreciate you. It's such a blessing in my life to have my friends that are so varsity, that get this stuff, that want to do this stuff with me. And we became friends, quote unquote, later in life. So it continued. I never forget that. I never take it for granted. So I appreciate the blessings as they come. It's hard to make friends when you get older, especially motivated varsity ones. So blessings. And I got to meet her whole family that's the same. So I got like a whole pack of varsity humans through one human. So that was a deal. But I appreciate the energy.
You're familiar.
Familiar. Yeah, I know, for real. I would say that with my family, but you might not want all of them. I love them, but it maybe.
I mean, I'm definitely taking Mama D.
Okay,
she's mine for sure.
We're just collectively a lot. Well, singularly we're a lot, but collectively it is like a Tasmanian devil family. So pieces, it's gold, but it's the most. So on that note, please have a wonderful year. People be safe on New Year's Eve. I don't know if I'll have this out before then, but be safe in general. Ashley, I appreciate your time and energy. Where do we find you? Do you want to give your handles?
You can find me on where I live, Twitter at the Ashley Simone, or on IG at the Ashley Simone.
Boom, go get out there. I appreciate you, and we'll see you for this next year.
Yeah, until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Tune in next time, and don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.